This album both drove out my best friend and got me the best friend of my entire life, as stated in the last video. We're gonna talk about that today. Take it away, Matt! Hey guys, it's Madeline here. So being a 17-year-old girl with ADHD, I tend to overanalyze anything and everything. Combine that with being a writer, music geek, wannabe English major, and poet, and you have yourself a recipe for disaster. So today, we're going to be analyzing Cigarette Daydreams by Cage the Elephant. We're gonna rip this song to pieces, learn some new things, and probably change how you, and most definitely I, listen to this song for the rest of eternity. Let's do it. So a little background information. A few weeks ago, I made a video over analyzing the new song Ready to Let Go from Cage the Elephant's new album, Social Cues. So since I was analyzing, especially Cigarette Daydreams, so much, there was just so many things in that song that I just couldn't get to in one video, so I just had to make another video about it. So when I was so obsessed with this song, it was like only 2 days after I heard it that I started to come up with my own meaning. But I was also like really curious, like what do other people think, what did Matt think, and I found a source somewhere that either Matt revealed it or it was heavily speculated that this song was about how Matt and his wife, who used to live in France, were able to make their distance relationship and become close together again, hence the lyrics, if you could find a reason to stay. So because I have so many dark, depressing memories attached to this song, and I'm such a sucker when it comes to nostalgia and sentimentality, then we're gonna like totally get into the details about what I think about this song. Great, let's get started. So in the entire first verse, it is there's not really much to analyze here. I mean, she's showing symptoms of depression in and out somewhere else right now, which is an example of disillusionment, where you feel like you're not exactly yourself and kind of, it's difficult to explain unless you have experienced it, but imagine you are like the spirit watching yourself move in daily life. That's pretty much what it feels. Whenever I feel it, it kind of feels like Lakitu in Super Mario 64, if that's a good visual for you. And then we see, close your eyes, so afraid, hide behind that baby face. So we also get the details that she is not only scared, but we also know this guy loves her since he is calling her baby. And then we get to the first chorus, which is where we can really start to analyze things here. You can drive all night searching for the answers in the pouring rain. So we all know that rain is a universal symbol of sadness. I don't need to cite that. I don't need to go into any more detail. We all know when that rain cloud is over, Charlie Brown, and he's the only one getting rained on, he's really sad and he's a failure. Yeah. But what the interesting part in this chorus that we see is the fact that it is pouring rain and that this girl is looking for answers, and she's also driving. So driving can be connected to like a journey that someone's on. You're driving in a car usually means you're going a very long distance. And pouring rain, it's not just raining, it is pouring down really, really hard. So we can assume that this is a really bad bout of sadness, aka depression, or we can also say that this can be an example of some hard trials that a person is going through right now. And what really intrigued me when I was first interpreting the song, looking for the answers in the pouring rain. What answers are we looking for? But the real question is, what is the question that was asked? Because in order to find an answer, you need to have a question. And we don't really know that question. What is this question that we are looking for? Peace of mind just gives us more proof that this girl is in a depressed state, because peace of mind, if you've never been depressed before, it is extremely chaotic. You feel like an empty shell, and there are times when you feel so numb, and yet it's this super intense feeling. Feeling nothing is really intense, even though that does seem counterintuitive. Peace of mind starts to make me think about suicidal thoughts. Suicidal thoughts is a really common thing that will happen when a person has depression. Whether they decide to go through with it or not, Usually when someone is in a depressed state, they either feel like they don't want to go on with life, that their life is worthless, or they may even feel that their life is so worthless they may want to kill themselves, unfortunately. The last thing I want to point out in this first chorus is that the lyrics looking for an answer are repeated 2 or 3 times. So if they're being repeated, I like to think of it as you're on a test and you're being timed. And you're just thinking, oh my goodness, what's the answer, what's the answer, what's the answer? And you don't know it. You're so desperate to find this answer because you're on a time limit. I connect that even more to evidence that this might be about a girl with talking about suicide, because she's so desperate to find an answer, and when you have these suicidal thoughts, you feel like suicide is the right answer. This is not the same for everyone. Everyone's depression is different, but in a way, your views on what is right and what is wrong are very skewed. So a lot of people do end up killing themselves because they think life will be better without them. So again, if she's repeating that she's looking for the answer, that must mean that she's either scared she's going to make the wrong answer, or this answer is super difficult to make. This makes it even worse because she is driving all night in the pouring rain. You can't really see anything. It's probably foggy out, it's really dark, there's rain pouring down everywhere, and you can't really see clearly, which is an amazing visual in this song. Oh my goodness, Matt Schultz, you are so clever, oh my goodness. And then we move into the second verse, which it starts off saying, "It seems like only yesterday," those aren't the exact lyrics, "I'm lazy, forgive me." But this is again another symptom of not really depression. It can be depression, but also people who know others who are suffering from depression, where it seems like you're trapped in time. So time is either moving really slowly, it's moving really quickly, you're stuck in a moment of time, you can't forget what happened that one day when you realized that something bad was happening. So since the memory is so fresh, it's like they don't even perceive time anymore, which again connects back to the disillusionment that we talked about earlier. You were looking out of place, packed up your things and slipped away. The fact that he's saying you looked out of place, it seems as if this girl is with a group of people that she either should not feel out of place with, or that she has been with a lot before, so it's not right that she feels out of place. She should feel like she belongs, and yet she feels like she doesn't belong, hence the reason why she's slipping away. She thinks no one will care, no one will mind if I just walk away. This also shows her lost in interest of either the group of people or the activity they are doing right now. As for no time at all, I'm curious if that connects back to, again, like, it doesn't seem like time is moving, I'm trapped in this one piece of time, or it could just mean that the guy is saying, I need to move quickly, I need to get to this girl quickly before she does something that she regrets. And then we get to the line in the second verse that is the title of this song, Cigarette Daydream. So by daydream, a good thing would be like daydreaming about this guy you like, or maybe that you'll be able to get out of school. But a bad daydream would be like you're pondering over the past maybe. You're feeling like maybe the past was better, maybe you want things to get better, maybe things aren't good right now. Since the song is so negative, we can just already assume that daydream is a bad thing in this case. A lot of people, especially people who work in performing arts like writing or musicians, they say that they feel a lot more productive and calm when they are high. So by cigarette daydreams, it could mean that he is turning to cigarette in order to feel calm and be able to analyze the situation with a clear mind. Or if we can connect this back to Ready to Let Go, we already know that Matt has a history and a habit of self-medicating when he is depressed. And then we get to the next line, you were only 17. I'm thinking it might connect to the previous line, cigarette daydream, you were only 17, as in you're smoking and you're only 17. But what's interesting about this, again, you were only 17. So by saying you were only 17, it's saying you were way too young for something to happen to you. So it's like saying she was too young to die. That's the connotation that comes with you were only 17. And then So Sweet was a mean streak. She's sweet, a sweet girl, obviously, and she has a mean streak, which is like a dark streak on a tile. So it could, what I think of like so sweet as in the tile so smooth, and yet it has one very obvious streak in the middle of it that's dark. And this bad inside of the good can connect to her depression, it can connect to whatever problem is going on right now that made her depressed. It could connect to her wanting to commit suicide or attempt it. And the final line we see nearly brought me to my knees. And the first thing that I think of in my head is someone falling over from sadness, grief, begging someone not to do something. But it could also be a reference to God, so praying. It's known that usually when you have hit rock bottom, that's usually when people become closer to God, so that makes perfect sense as well. But really what got me to believe that it's probably begging would be this second half in the next chorus that comes up, where there's a line that says, if we could find a reason to change, and if you could find a reason to stay. So for one, a reason is repeated. So if you could find a reason to stay. So again, like, it connects back to looking for the answer. If you could find a reason, you could find an answer, because reason and answer are different, but they're pretty similar. And then it identifies what that reason is, which we can then plug in to the looking for an answer. If you could find a reason to stay, and what I interpret this is, if you could find a reason to stay alive, if you could find a reason to stay on Earth, if you could find a reason to not attempt or commit suicide. Additionally, the line before that, if we could find a reason to change, is basically saying, if we could find a reason, some way to help you maybe, something we could have said, something we could have done, which makes me wonder, has the girl in this song, has she already died, or is she almost there?
You can drive all night, looking for the answers in the pouring rain.
So taking all of this information that we have piled up from these lyrics, we can then plug this information back into the main lyrics that are repeated, I think 6 times throughout the song, maybe more, standing in the pouring rain and looking for the answers in the pouring rain. So instead of driving, you're on a journey you're going through. Standing in the pouring rain, you are still. I don't think she's holding an umbrella at this point. The rain is just pouring down on her face. So she is standing in the pouring rain. She is standing right there in the middle of this pouring rain. So this big trial, this depression, this sadness. She's not moving anymore. She's not in her car. She's not moving on with her life. She's stuck in this one moment, in this one period of sadness. And something I also want to point out, again, that I mentioned in the Ready to Let Go video, Matt revealed in one of his quotes that he compared depression to this dark cloud above his head. Rain, dark clouds, heh, yeah. So going back to that first question I said, when you need a question in order to find an answer. So what was the question? I think of it, the question is contemplating suicide, so asking whether you should stay alive or whether you should end your life. I find the rain an especially clever image because it's like around you the world is raining, so life is meaningless, life is worthless, everything is falling apart, everything's raining down on you, and yet you're still searching for these answers. So you're still desperately finding something to cling on to in life. And it's difficult to find that answer, and a lot of people choose wrong. Again, it's really hard to see. A lot of people choose the wrong way, unfortunately. But this girl is still looking for a way to find the answer, and there's another person standing here. If we could find a reason to change, maybe that reason to change is coming out with an umbrella and a flashlight, helping them through. As for the music, we start with a series of down strums. And then chill out. Another clever addition of the song, because by this certain strumming pattern, Because rain changes so much, it makes you feel like you are actually in that rainstorm, watching the glass patter on the glass of the car windows. And then you go into the chill out rhythm, the down 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 up down up on the E minor, and it can either symbolize, I think of either wind blowing or like the windshield wipers coming and wiping away the water so that you can see a little better. And yet it still goes right back to the pouring rain, so even though you have the windshield wipers wiping away the water, it's still not going to leave. It's still there, and it's still raining around you. This song just gets me emotional every time. I grew up in Georgia where it rained 7 months out of the year, and it's one of the most precious memories that I hold on to today. And just those memories of running around the house and exploring the wet terrain around my yard, that was like bliss for me back then. And there are just so many symbols in the song that are just eerily similar to my own past. As for the music, Matt quiets down at the end to sing the dues. It's like he's thinking, he's pondering over that cigarette daydream. Have you guys seen that video of him playing that guitar in the bathroom? And you just hear in the last chorus, and his voice is so soft, and the guitar has even died down just playing that single strum. It's like he's saying, like, he knows it's happening and it's really sad, and it's finally getting to him. And it's so soft and beautiful as he sings it, and then it kicks back up looking for the answer, and he's not giving up. If you can find a reason to stay, if we can find a reason to change, we will help you. And we will try and make it a way that you can stay here. And he just urges one last time, find a reason to stay with me. And then it ends. Nothing special. No held out note. No more chords, no more guitar, no more instrumentals. It just ends. It's like a cliffhanger. We really don't know what her choice was. Did she succeed in ending her life? Did she never do it in the first place? Who knows? And that's for her to decide. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you not like how I look? Do I look hideous? Do you hate my voice? Should I stop talking? And do I need help? Am I going insane? Leave it in the comments below. What other songs do you guys want me to tear to pieces? Did I get any lyrics wrong? Please correct me, it would help me so much. And until next time, thanks guys for watching. Remember to play it loud.